Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A leading up to The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 11, which is called Knots Untie. In this one, we're going to start with talking about Carl's future in the television series for Chandler Riggs, and I'll be answering some more of your guys' questions. So this first one comes from Storm Shadow. He has all kinds of awesome questions. He's been here for a couple of years, so thanks Storm Shadow for all the awesome questions and video suggestions and everything. So for this one, he asked, hey Trev, do you think Carl will now change into a darker person? We've kind of seen him already start to have some trouble with Enid. Spoiler warning if you're not caught up on The Walking Dead. And I think that's probably just the start of it. I think he has quite a ways to go to get to his comic book series counterpart at this time, and kind of how troubled and how much pain he's gone through, experienced, and aggression and anger he has. Chandler Riggs' his television series version of Carl, even though we've seen a few parts, like where season 3 finale when he kills the kid from Woodbury, probably long since forgotten by most viewers in that, if you haven't thought about it for a while. Aside from that, I mean, he's had a few little parts here and there. I mean, he gets in the fight with Ron and that. He points the gun at him, tells him to give it over, that kind of thing. But he does kind of take Ron's side, and I guess that's fine. We haven't seen too much of that kind of transformation yet, but now that, of course, major spoiler warning, he's gotten the eye shot out and everything, he's starting to look a lot more like he looks in the comic book series and that. Even though he looks older, like in terms of his look, I'd say he looks older than even maybe the post-time skip Carl, which is, or close to the same age. He's definitely got a long ways to go, I think, and we're going to probably see them focus in on that quite a bit more in the future, of him having trouble getting along with people, maybe killing some different people, and just expressing a lot more of his pain that he's had, that he's gone through, onto others. Even though, like last week's episode, he does kind of help out. He kind of brings the zombie, and I watched, after watching Talking Dead and watching the episode again, I kind of realized this. He purposefully brings the zombie Deanna out to Spencer, and of course Michonne kind of consoles him afterwards when he cries, saying that it should be somebody that loved her, this kind of thing. So he kind of does it as almost like a favor. So he's got, in the TV series, a lot of the way he's shown is a lot lighter, but I think if I had to say the comic book series version, I think he's probably more like somebody like the Governor than he is like Rick. So it'll be interesting to see in the television series how they interpret it. But yeah, I think his future, he's going to have a lot more scenes and a lot more stuff that really show how much he's transformed and changed into a much darker version of himself. So great question from Storm Shadow. We'll do a few more for today. This one won't be too long. I'll probably try to keep it around 10 minutes. Xgenbrawler says, do you think AMC is going to change the Hilltop in the Walking Dead television series, and if so, how? So to answer his question, well, we did see, I released some pictures, or I've talked about some pictures released by the Spoiling the Dead fans on Facebook page last summer, around the, I want to say like around even July, August type time range, that type of deal. So I know they were building it, but the thing is so big. I mean, Hilltop is huge. The set for it is really big. I wonder if it's ready at this current episode time, because they seem to have brought Jesus in really earlier than I thought they were going to. I thought he'd probably be a few episodes before they bring him in, not the second episode of the second half. So with regards to the Hilltop, I mean, I tend to say we probably won't see it right off the bat next week or the week after. But, like in episode maybe something like maybe 13 or 14 or something like that. But man, they're going at quite a pace, through season 6 and even a lot of season 5. They did the second half of season 5 in that. So they're covering a lot of ground, so maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we will see the Hilltop this week or even the week after in episode 12 or like I said, 13, something pretty soon. I thought it would be closer to the end, but it seems like they're bringing it in, very quickly. So a little bit different from the pacing that we're kind of used to from Gimple and his season 4 type pacing. Sometimes season 5 first half type pacing as well too. Going through a lot of comic book stuff right now, that's for sure. Next one's from AlphaWolf, and he says, "Do you think we'll ever see the hospital again responsible for Beth's death?" And I've had this question asked a few times, but I thought I'd throw it in because we haven't talked about it for a while. I doubt it. I kind of doubt it. I mean, that's from the first half of season 5, right? I doubt they'll ever bring that as a location vacation back, but they're going through so much material, like we just said, of the comic book series. You tend to think that they would throw something in. Season 4 had the illness. Season 5, which was an add-in. Season 5 had the stuff with Beth. They also had the Terminus stuff in Season 4 to kind of space that out. They haven't really spaced out Season 6 much. It's covered, very quickly, a lot of comic book material. I mean, almost all of No Way Out is like one episode. It's a pretty crazy, or a couple episodes. So the pacing is awesome. I really love it, but I just hope they don't go through it all too fast and then the show become in jeopardy or something. Hopefully, maybe Season 7 we're going to see some add-ins and stuff that we haven't really thought of yet. Next one is Luke Dog 15, and he says, "Hey Trev, just wanted to touch on the fact that the ratings are down once again. The show didn't even rise in ratings on the mid-season premiere. Judging by this, I'm thinking that the show did actually hit its peak in Season 5 and will not peak again. Not even if they do a cliffhanger in the finale. Wanted to know your thoughts. Thanks, bro." So this is just an awesome question from Luke Dog. I had to include this one. It's so good. So yeah, I mean, that's something we've been talking about for a couple years now. I'm interested in that. Some people are like, "Trev, why are you talking about this? Who cares?" Because it's important, because if the show grows or the show's big, they can continue to do No Way Out stuff with big budgets and big things happening. If the show loses popularity or starts to shrink, they may have to kind of tighten, and then they won't have as much budget to work with, as much stuff like that. It can affect the long term, how long the show is going to be on for, and a lot of things about it and how it's interpreted from the comics. And, if it gets low enough, eventually it could get canceled, because it's not an easy show to do. It would need to at least get, I think, at least $5 million per episode, probably even more, because they put quite a bit into it. They'd want to get more from it than that. So I'm not sure if it's just that, like some people have said, well, there's Fear of the Walking Dead. That may have affected the first half, but I don't think it would affect it now. After the break in the winter, then it comes back. So some people have said maybe it's technology. Maybe more people are DVRing it, this kind of deal. And that's true. In the last couple of years, more and more people are getting devices like this. So there may be some truth to that. But it's only like a year or a year and a half, so it's kind of hard to see. In terms of what I've seen online with viewers commenting, people watching my videos, this kind of deal. For me, it's just increased, but that's a different system than the actual TV series itself. But I've seen so I think what we're seeing is a lot of the casual viewers that checked out The Walking Dead, that may have watched it for a while. Maybe they've kind of had enough of it type deal, but there's more hardcore fans like myself and you guys that really love the show, love The Walking Dead, want to talk about it, and watch every episode, look forward to every episode, that kind of deal. So I think there's more hardcore fans, but with regards to general fans, in the general population, not as many people are watching as they were. It could be because the initial mystique of it has worn off a little bit. The initial okay, we're going to have characters, they're going to be killed off, and then you don't know what's going to happen, and anybody could be killed. And maybe after a certain point, after a certain amount of character deaths, people will be like, oh yeah, okay, they killed this person this week, or they killed that person this week. It's not so unbelievable anymore, that type of deal. So yeah, maybe that's what it is. But I do think you're right, Luke Dog, especially after No Way Out, because you'd think after an episode like that, next week's episode should be, picking up where it left off, should increase, because it was only like 13 million or something, and No Sanctuary was quite a bit higher than that. I think it was around like 16 or something. Just going by memory, I don't have the wiki open right now. But yeah, so it does seem like it peaked at the season 5 premiere, No Sanctuary. Even though No Way Out was I thought was the best episode ever, and a lot of lists have it ranked as the best episode The Walking Dead's ever had. The following week didn't peak much. It didn't. A lot of times you'll have a great episode, and then the next episode will be even higher because people are buzzing about this one, talking about it. Then they want to see the next one. That didn't happen this time. It didn't increase again. So it could be that The Walking Dead hit its all-time max in season 5. I tend to think that the season 6 finale, season 7 premiere will be the best to test it. But if we find that season 6 finale, season 7 premiere still doesn't beat No Sanctuary, or none of those episodes around there do, then I think exactly what you said. I think we're looking at The Walking Dead having peaked, most popularity-wise among average people, average viewers, would be the season 5 premiere. It looks like it. So unfortunate. I didn't think it was that, because I think it's just getting better. But everybody's different. Some people, maybe they try it, they're not that into it, and then they switch or something. That kind of deal. Average viewers, that's kind of what they do. So I do that sometimes for some shows I'm just not that into. Next one is from Michael Montan, and we'll do like 2 more, this one and another one. He says, will we ever see Jesse, Ron, and Sam as walkers? So it's Q&A questions. So, no, it definitely doesn't seem like it unless they do some kind of flashback, which they probably won't. I thought maybe they'd do some kind of thing of Rick seeing Jesse or something like that, because he did have to, of course, cut her damn hand off or something, any kind of PTSD. But again, we've been through all that before with Lori, so they don't want to repeat. So, it seems like no, they'll probably never show that to us. So we're assuming they put them down, buried them right after the events of No Way Out near the end there. So it is what it is. They skipped over it. So, what it is. And we'll do this one, the last one. This is from Vret-NR, Vretnir, I think. And he says, who would win, Morgan or Jesus? Please, if you're going to use my question, say my name right. LOL, Vretnir. I tried, dude. That's the best I could do. VRET-NR. So who's the better fighter between the two of them, hand to hand, or if you've got Morgan with his staff and Jesus just there? So in the TV series, I would go with Morgan. From what we've seen so far, it seems like Morgan's better with his staff than Jesus would be just with a knife or something. Maybe if you give him a gun, okay, maybe he beat Morgan there. Hand to hand, maybe without the staff, maybe Jesus would beat him. But oh man, it seems like Morgan's pretty tough. I mean, he did have to survive and do everything on his own, fight and kill zombies and that for years. So, or at least over a year. So yeah, man, he's really tough. But so generally in the TV series, I'll probably go with Morgan as the toughest, not counting guns. In the comic book series, I go the other way. Jesus is definitely tougher than the comic book series version of Morgan for sure. There's no question about it. And we'll do this one last one. Charlie Romeo, he says, hey Trev, I noticed episode 10, The Walking Dead season 6, that when Jesus takes the truck, Daryl and Rick run after him instead of chasing him with the car they came in. What are your thoughts on this? So instead of Rick like running him over or something like that, like he may have done previously, it seems like Rick has changed a bit. He's starting to kind of become a little bit more open. He's saying that Daryl was right. Maybe they should give people a chance. And so he has changed quite a bit. I think it's also because they don't view him as that big of a threat, and Daryl jumping out and chasing him. By the way, there's a video on YouTube of the Benny Hill music with him doing that, which is pretty funny. I have seen it. I haven't really mentioned it, but I've seen it. I think it's just because, they don't view him as much of like a threat as somebody like Bob running back to tell Dawn and, kind of being in this kind of battle scenario. This one's a little bit, brighter, and it doesn't seem to be that much of a, that serious. So it's a little bit, so again, they're reinventing the show. They're taking a little bit different direction, and Rick seems to have changed quite a bit as well himself. So we'll call it there for today's Q&A, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below as usual, share, and fave. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. I may have another one for you guys tomorrow. So it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. See you guys.